We're now live on Facebook and Zoom. We're just waiting for the participants all starting to come in.
Okay.
I think we're now live and ready to go.
Okay, so I'll make a start then. So welcome everybody to those joining live the session right now, and also welcome to those who are going to be watching this on catch up later. My name is Tracy Cripps. I'm Vice Chair of the BAME Network at CUH. And together with my co-vice chair, Emil Brown, and our Madam Chair, Erica Chizanga, we have prepared a series of presentations to celebrate Black History Month. And I'm really pleased, actually, and honoured to be able to kick off the first of these series of presentations this week with a presentation with my friend, Richard Hunt, who you'll see here joining us, to share with you his journey that he experienced with prostate cancer. And this was something that was immediately important to my heart, because when Richard, who is my friend, as I've mentioned, I've known him since I was 15, sent me a link to his blog, and I saw what he was sharing with people online, I knew that if I had an opportunity to share this to a wider audience, I just felt that this was just a heartfelt and valuable message that absolutely everybody should share and experience and hear. So I invited Richard along this week to talk to us and share his personal journey. It's heartfelt, it's very open, very frank, and Richard goes into some detail with a massive degree of bravery, actually, to share his own personal experience. So be prepared for that. And it will be a wonderful presentation. This session is interactive, so we encourage questions. So Richard will go through his presentation, and then there will be an opportunity at the end to submit questions. But as you're going along, please do submit questions into the chat. With no much more ado, I will introduce Richard. And Richard, a heartfelt welcome for your time today, and your willingness to share this story. So why don't we just get stuck in? And I'd like to ask you, Richard, just talk to us a little bit about your life before you were diagnosed.
Basically, I was a carpenter, still am a carpenter. Studied martial arts, and I'm just a normal kind of regular guy, basically. I used to get my prostate checked, basically, twice a year when I got to 40, because I know that it's high in the ethnic community. Yeah. So that's what I decided to do. Went to the doctors. He checked me out. He gave me an internal examination, and he said to me that the prostate, basically the prostate's the size of a walnut.
Yeah.
He felt in there that was a part of it was hard, or something was hard there.
Yeah. So Richard, can I ask you, what was the examination like? Because there'll be people watching this that don't have that much of an insight into prostate. So when you say you went for the examination, can you talk to us a little bit about what happened there? What was the examination like to get it checked?
Yeah, it was it's an intrusive examination. They lie you down on a couch, you flip your leg over to the right hand side, the doctor puts a glove on, and he puts some gel on his finger, and then he inserts his fingers into your anus.
Right.
And then he squeezes it from there. It's painful. It's
right.
Not it's a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was not nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like it. I imagine that just, we're in the NHS here, we can talk about these things openly. That's what the purpose of this conversation is. It almost sounds a bit like a smear test for a woman, where a similar sort of thing, obviously through the vaginal cavity. So that's what it sounds like to me. So I know I imagine what that must have felt like. So when the doctor told you that, you know, he felt some sort of abnormality, I think what you said, what sort of happened next?
Basically, he said to me, you need to get another checkup, basically, at
Yeah,
a hospital. So that's
right,
what I did. I got another checkup at a hospital, and they need to take a biopsy of it.
right.
So this is, I was luckily enough, I had private healthcare at that time,
Yeah,
so it kind of run quite quickly. So
yeah,
I was admitted into the hospital. They knocked me out and they took a biopsy of it.
right.
So that's what happened there.
That's what happened there.
Mm.
And then how long did it take you to get the results back from the biopsy?
It takes, I think it takes about 2 weeks. Now, in two
Yeah,
weeks, I was very nervous. I didn't know, what was, my mind was all over the place, but it takes 2 weeks.
yeah. To
Once
to
I,
to
go on.
to get the results back. So what was it they were testing you for? Can you remember?
Yeah, it was PSA levels.
Right.
PSA
Yeah.
levels, yeah. So they
So
took,
that's obviously got to be in some sort of range, I guess. And then if it's too
that's
high
right.
or too low, yeah.
Mine was, they took the biopsy. Once they took the biopsy, I went back after 2 weeks, and they said to me they need to talk to me. They took me into a room, and they just said, basically, you've got prostate cancer. I was
Wow.
shocked. I didn't know what to
Wow.
do, and so he said, like, don't worry about it. It's a slow growing one, and it can be treated. It's one of the cancers that we can defeat.
Yeah.
If you catch it. You know,
Yeah.
that's what happened there.
So good on you, because
Yeah.
you obviously had this shocking diagnosis, but then they kind of reassured you, I guess, telling you that it was treatable and, you know, you had some options. So what sort of did they tell you then about your next steps in terms of your options? What were they? What could you do about it?
Yeah, what they basically said to me was, come back in another 2 weeks' time. They gave me a leaflet. The service was terrible, to be fair, from the start to the finish.
Yeah.
It
In the
was
private sector.
private sector. It's all a glossy magazine. It's all in and out kind of thing. So they just gave me like a leaflet, a leaflet that big, and they
Yeah.
said, right, read that, and come back. We'll make an appointment in another 2 weeks. And in that leaflet, it basically explained to me what my options were, whether to have the prostate removed,
Yeah.
have a prosectomy, or have radiation therapy.
Yeah.
So I was, I thought to myself, I was a bit worried about the radiation, because they basically, in the booklet, it says if you have the radiation and the cancer comes back,
Yeah.
it's really hard for them to take the prostate away.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought to myself, I'd rather get it taken out, and then if it does come back, then they can do the radiation. It's like two goalkeepers in the goal, basically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I opted for.
Right. So you opted to have the prostate removed,
Yeah.
and then presumably you obviously went into hospital in the private healthcare, and you had the prostate removed. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, I had it removed. I had a doctor. He works for the NHS. I can't remember his name, but he works for the NHS, does private and NHS work. I had
Yeah.
him remove it, and then I woke up. I think I was under for, I'm not sure. I think the operation's about 4 to 5 hours. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I opted for the nerve sparing surgery, which they try and spare your nerves to give you more of a chance of erections and incontinence.
Yeah.
That's what I opted for, and
So
he was like a specialist in that.
right. So you assumed, you know, it was going to be good. You were going to have this surgery. You had the surgery. So when you sort of came to from the surgery, talk to us a little bit about, you know, how you felt, what the impact was on you.
Yeah, it was pain like I've never felt in my life. It was like, wow, I got hit with so much pain, and I woke up and I was just like delirious, and it was just an awful pain down there. They
Yeah.
they put a catheter in, which
Yeah.
goes into your urethra, and
Yeah.
it goes into your bladder, and I think they blow it up with the balloon. So I had a catheter in. That
Yeah.
was a shock, seeing that, and yeah, it was very, very painful. They put me onto morphine, some other painkillers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very, very sore, very
Yeah.
sore for 5, 6 days. Unbelievable pain. Oh,
So Richard, it sounds to me like you weren't expecting any of this. Did you get any kind of preparation or any guidance before the surgery of
no,
what to expect?
no, you don't.
No.
No, none at all. I wasn't spoken to. The doc, the doc. It was just it's a very fast service. They go take the booklet, have your operation, and they don't tell you what to expect.
Yeah.
Not, it's a really appalling service.
Wow.
I wasn't
Wow.
happy about it at all. I wanted
Yeah.
to take up some action against them, to be fair, but I thought,
Wow. Wow.
yeah,
So after the surgery, obviously they discharged you, and tell us what happened then.
yeah, they discharged me. I had to have the catheter in for about 16 days, 2 weeks. I said,
Yeah.
yeah, and living with a catheter was horrendous for me.
Oh,
I couldn't cope with it. It was really, really uncomfortable, and it kept kinking at night. It's a
yeah.
really, really horrible feeling it's just a horrible feeling. So yeah, I had the catheter in for 2 weeks. They gave me a call and said to me, right, come back in for a checkup. We're going to take the catheter out.
Yeah.
They explained to me that you've got to bring some. Well, the booklet says you've got to bring some pads because you're going to be incontinent straight away. So I researched some pads online.
Yeah.
Went to the hospital, and they removed the catheter, which was a blessing. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
But they don't let you leave until you start peeing.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing. So that's what happened after that. Went to the hospital,
Yeah.
took the catheter out, and then I went home.
Yeah.
Mm.
So then what happened there? Because from what you're saying, there wasn't much preparation for the surgery. They did a good job of doing the surgery, but then what sort of follow-up and aftercare did you have? And then did you need to interact with the NHS at all?
Yeah, after the operation, they kind of, once you've had the checkup, had the catheter out, and then you go and see the doctor a following time, and that's it. Then they say, right, that's it.
You're just on your own from there?
Yeah, I had to do all the research myself. I had to do it all. So what I did, I went to see my doctor, and he got me in touch with the NHS, and I
Yeah.
started having treatment from them. And the treatment and the aftercare was fantastic. I couldn't fault it.
Oh,
Couldn't fault it at all. Yeah, the NHS
that's
really done well. Really, really done well. And
oh.
they're still giving me treatment now. Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah.
That's amazing to hear. And, obviously you're in good company here. We welcomed you today into our NHS family, and
Yeah.
everybody on this call, everybody that watches it after. We are all in these jobs because we absolutely care about our patients and the public. We care about people. So let me just ask you, what prompted you to go to your GP? Were you having problems?
Well, I just couldn't get hold of my doctor. The private doctor, he's not available. He's busy. His secretary, because you have to go through his secretary. It's just it's a merry-go-round.
Yeah.
It really wasn't good. So that's when I
Yeah.
went to the doctor, and they start getting NHS the service from them.
Yeah. So what sort of things did you need the NHS for? And tell us the kind of way the NHS supported you.
Because I was still leaking when the catheter came out. I was still leaking a hell of a lot. I was leaking. I was going through about 14 pads a day.
Really?
Yeah, 14 pads a day. Yeah, and they said it would subside. So I was leaking, and then the NHS. I went to see a specialist, a bladder specialist. They checked me out, and they said it will get better. Then I went to see another woman who explained to me about Kegel exercises. Got to do your Kegel exercises.
Say that again, sorry, Richard.
You have to do your Kegel exercises. It's like,
what's that?
It's like a muscle. For instance, if you squeeze your anus, that's the muscle. You squeeze it, open it, squeeze. That's the Kegel exercise you have to do. So I have to do 30 a day, 30 long ones, 30 short ones.
Right.
So yeah.
And what's that designed to do? Sort of.
Yeah, kind of strengthen down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
To help.
And that's to help with the incontinence.
Help, yeah, with the incontinence. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. See, that reminds me, on again thinking about it from a woman's perspective, of like your pelvic floor muscle, I suppose, after you've had a baby.
Yeah.
It's this sort of similar sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm guessing. So none of this was explained to you at all in the private care setting. You had to find all of this out through the NHS.
They just gave me a booklet. That was it.
Wow.
That was it. Booklet. You're just in and out. You're just it's a terrible service. I mean, don't get me wrong. People have good experiences, bad experience. I had a very bad experience with them. You know? But,
well, thank God the NHS was there to support you. So,
you
you spoke about the pads and things that you needed to wear. Would you be prepared to sort of talk about that and show what those are like?
You'll quickly go and get one.
Yeah, well, no, not if you have to leave your seat. No, don't worry.
Sorry.
Don't worry.
Well, they're basically, there's like a triangle. They're like that. They're like a triangle, the pads. I've got one on now. I'm down to like 1 pad a day. I'm still leaking.
Yeah.
It was I went down to, I was doing 14 pads a day, then it dropped to, over about a year, it dropped to about 4 pads a day. But now pad a day, but I'm still leaking. So I'm still in the NHS and I'm waiting for them to they're going to contact me. So I have to have another test. I have to have a camera put in down my urethra. This again, and some dye put in to find out where the leaks happening.
Wow. Okay, so you're still receiving a lot of aftercare and support from the NHS, which is incredible. That's absolutely incredible.
Fantastic service.
So what about, you've obviously spoken about the incontinence and having to wear pads, which I'm sure must have been tremendously difficult for you. How did you kind of deal with that? Like, you're buff, you're fit, you're gorgeous, man, and suddenly, all these things are happening to you. What kind of how did that impact on you? How did you deal with that?
It was tough. It was very, very tough. Very tough dealing with it, the mind, and thinking to yourself, are you ever going to get better? I was reading a lot of books on it, going on the internet, finding out about it. But it was really, it was stressful times. But you just, you got to deal with things, in life. That life throws at you. You got to be strong-minded. And I've always been of that mindset. I'm a martial artist. I've got a black belt in freestyle taekwondo, and I've just got a very strong mind. And I knew that I would overcome it. That kind of got me through it as well. The doctors, the lady in the NHS, I can't remember her name. She said to me, if you ever get any problems, just call me. So she helped me a lot. I could talk to her about it. It's very, very good. Very, very, very good. So they kind of helped me, and I was strong-minded as well. It was difficult, but but I'm here.
That's amazing. I'm definitely feeling that love you've got from the NHS. For the NHS, it's just awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested, just to, if you don't mind talking about it a bit more, about some of the other things that you experience. So you've spoken about obviously the incontinence and having to wear pads, and obviously that's getting better as you're going along. But what other sorts of impact has having the prostate removed had on you in terms of your lifestyle?
Yeah, they said you will suffer from EDs, called erectile dysfunction, erections basically. That was because I thought when I was going to have the operation, I thought the nerves, everybody's different, everybody heals up. Some people can get through it quite quickly and they heal up quite well and they get their erections back, but I suffered. I couldn't get an erection. I was seeing a woman in the NHS. She was dealing with that problem, and I was on they gave me Viagra to start with. And they gave me a pump, like a penile pump. I haven't got it here, but this is the end of it. It's in the other room. It's like a pump like that, and it's a tube that goes on there, and that goes onto your penis, and you basically get some air in there. It's suction, and it gets some
helps
blood.
You sustain an erection. So it's like a vacuum, I presume.
I had a vacuum device. So I tried all them things. I kept going back to the NHS. I said, this is not working, that's not working. And then I had to went on to this, I can't remember what it's called. It was like an injection. You keep it in the fridge. And that was it was hard. You had not sex, and then you had to stick a needle in the side of your penis. It was difficult.
Wow.
So it worked, but I had a I had an erection for nearly 7 hours, and my head was pounding, and I thought, blimey, this is not good. But eventually it went down. So I didn't want to use that anymore. I opted not to use that.
Yeah.
So I got these rings, that. So basically,
Okay.
you can get an erection, and then this slips onto the penis, the base of the penis, and that holds the blood in the penis, and this helps me to have sex. Without this,
Yeah.
I can't have sex. So that's still ongoing. The erection thing is still ongoing. They're looking
Yeah.
into that as well. But yeah, that was quite hard to deal with, having the manhood kind of like
Gosh.
taken away from you. Yeah, that was tough. Very, very tough. Because I'm a young 56-year-old.
Yeah, you are, and absolutely gorgeous, and such a fun-loving guy, always full of life, and everybody will be able to see just what a lovely person you are. I can imagine just how hard that must be, and emotionally, even on the side of obviously your partner. Obviously, these are things that you can't sort of just pop a pill and do in secret. These are things that you have to prepare during the act or
Yeah,
while the act is happening. So that must be
it was
really
difficult.
hard.
It was difficult. Yeah, it was difficult because it was like you just feel very shameful, you know, trying to inject yourself, and sometimes it didn't work, and it was tough. But I had a very understanding partner. She understood it, and you got to understand some things in life. It's not all about the sex. There's other things in life that
Yeah,
make you happy. But yeah,
yeah,
but we got through it. We got through it.
yeah.
I'm okay. I'm happy. I'm
I
here. I'm
can't.
happy. Yeah.
You're amazing. I can't believe my landline is going in the middle of this presentation. My landline never rings. This
Yeah.
is just work-life balance. I apologize to everybody. It just never rings. Of course, it's ringing right now. And I won't get up to answer it. Hopefully that stops in a second. So Richard, thank you for that really honest and open account. I think you're just incredibly brave to talk about this, and I think one of the reasons when you sent me that link to your blog, I won't take any thunder from this. You tell the audience, tell everybody listening why you sent me that blog. Why is this so important to you to talk about?
Yeah, it's to get the message out there to people. It's to I know a friend of mine. His brother died of prostate cancer. He didn't want to get treated. He didn't want to have the internal examination. But now you can have a PSA level, a blood test basically. But when you go to your doctors, they'll give you an internal examination, and he just didn't want to have it done, and he ended up dying from it. And there's a lot of people that won't let, a lot of men that will just go, no, nobody's going in my anus.
Yeah.
It's taboo, and
Yeah.
they won't have it. They won't have that check. It's a silent killer. And my thoughts were to get it out there and to get more men in, get tested.
Yeah.
Get tested and get out there. Don't be scared,
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
be scared to get tested.
Richard, we just had a question pop up in the chat from one of our listeners, and they've asked what the symptoms are of prostate cancer. Do you know?
My symptoms were getting up in the night a lot and going to the toilet.
Right.
Yeah. Getting up 5, 6, 7 times a night. That's one of the symptoms. Yeah.
Right.
A very strong symptom, that is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
No, that's really good to talk about, and I'm really interested in your thoughts around what it is because obviously this is you're here. This is important for all men, for everybody, but particularly in the BAME community. There's a big and massive sort of taboo about this sort of thing, and I think the check, obviously you're a black man. What in your view is it that prevents men in the black and minority ethnic groups having their prostate checked? What is it, do you think, that people are scared of?
I think they're scared of the examination. They did. And I spoke to my friend's his brother about it, and he said he just didn't want to He could not face anybody going near his bum.
Yeah.
Didn't want it. Just, and that was it. They're just scared, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's basically what it was.
So what do you think we could do maybe to sort of just turn that around a bit? Because what you're really talking about is life and death here. You said yourself that this is a silent killer, and you know it's quite prevalent in the BAME community. I think for those reasons that you said, people are just scared to kind of have the test. What do you think? Obviously, that's one of the reasons why I wanted you to come out here and talk to people about this. But what do you think we can do, and what should we be doing to kind of, yes, it's a little bit painful and uncomfortable, but this is so important. What can we do, in your opinion?
You just got to get the message over to people. Some people are scared of needles as well. They won't, you know, they don't want to, you won't have the PSA test because they're scared of needles. You got to get it over to people and explain to them that when you get to your 40s or even earlier, people have perished from this disease. You got to get tested. You've got to. It's not. It's you just got to get yourself out there and get tested. You got to tell everybody. You know, where everybody I meet, I say to them, "Have you had a prostate test?" No. I'm 60. I don't need one. Well, I think you do. Go and get tested. It's people just don't. They're not serious enough about it. It needs to be more. I think more advertising, put on TV more. You know, that kind of thing. Get it out there. You know, billboards in football grounds, that kind of thing, because it's killing everybody. It's terrible, and it can be prevented. You know.
Yeah.
Advertising, that kind of thing, word of mouth.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah. That's why I've done the blog.
Yeah.
People could see it on YouTube, and they could see it, and they could go on it and go right and explain to people what I've gone through to give them kind of half a chance, really.
Yeah. It's just amazing, Richard. And again, I just can't commend you enough for your bravery and how honestly and openly, you know, you talk about this. It's such an important thing in the community. Someone else has asked in the chat, the fear of the internal examination. Do we think that the fear of the internal examination is a cultural and social fear? So do you think it's in the BAME communities more as opposed to white communities?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. I think so. It's a bit tabooish, you know. It's a bit tabooish. Yeah.
Why do we think that is?
It's I had a friend, he's a Muslim guy. I got a friend, he's a Muslim guy, and he said to me, I would never have the test.
Yeah.
No, won't have it done. I said, why not? Because I don't want nobody to go near that part of me. You know.
Yeah.
I tried to explain to him, but he just wouldn't listen.
So it's quite a deep set fear that's, I think, cultural, and as you've just said, even religious, sort of has religious orientation, you know. One of my colleagues, I've just had a message for one of our vice chairs, actually, Emil Brown. He's just thanked you so much, Richard, and said that he will definitely be getting his prostate checked. So that's definitely it's the real deal here. You're doing exactly
tell your friends, your brothers, your uncles, tell everybody, get it checked, get that message out there, tell people, you know. Some people they never have a prostate checked. You know, they overlook it.
And what sort of advice would you give to the women, you know, partners and things? Is there any sort of advice you would give to women that are with men of BAME origin? I mean, all men, but obviously, you know, particularly we know this is an issue in the BAME communities. What would you say to any women listening? What would you say to them?
Tell your partners, explain to them, you know, you want to live longer, you know, you want to have a healthier life together, go and have a check, go and get prostate checked, get it checked, and get it checked every year. And, you know, and do it. Don't shy away from, oh, I'm too busy, I can't do it, I'm working, I can't do this. You go and get it checked, you know. Drum it into your partner, go and get a prostate check. Definitely.
So it's like a routine thing, just like you go for your smear test or you go for your annual dental check, whatever. It should be sort of built into your regular sort of normal way of life?
I would say get it checked twice a year, me, instead of the once a year.
Really?
Yeah, I think because they say once a year, but I was getting mine checked twice a year. You know, it didn't bother me. I was getting it checked twice a year, and that's what saved me.
And yeah. So why are you? Oh, we've just got a question from our Madam Chair, actually, from Erica. Do you want to go ahead and ask your question, Erica? Judith, can she do that live, or do we have to do it in the chat? You're on mute, Judith.
I've just allowed her to speak, so hopefully, Erica,
Okay.
you can
Hiya.
speak.
Go for it, Erica.
Hello, Richard.
Hi,
Can
Erica.
you all hear me?
Yes, Madam
Welcome.
Chair.
Welcome. Thank you so much. I was typing just in case Judith wouldn't be able to let me in, but she's such an amazing comms expert we've
Great.
got here. Okay, so you've covered quite a lot of ground there, and I'm thinking along the lines of, you know, for those people that have already been diagnosed with a prostate problem, I mean, what is the one bit of support? Oh, somebody's coming here. What is the one bit of support that female members of the family can give you, or a person with such a diagnosis? And how can the situation be made easier for them to give male family members with a diagnosis like that, like yours, support?
Support. Your family's just got to just stick with you, you know. And just, you know, always talk to you about it. It's you know, and explain to you that it's not going to be the killer disease if caught in time. You know, that's the kind of support really that your family should be giving to you. It's not a number, like I say, it's not a number one killer if caught early, you know. And don't be frightened of speaking about it. You know, if you've got a partner, don't just brush it under the carpet. You know, talk about it every day. You know, that kind of thing. That's the sort of kind of support.
Okay, yeah, and Tracy has kindly asked a lot of the other questions, which have you've already answered quite well there. I come from a culture where, you know, we're, if there's any such a thing, to be very cultural, and where genders meet, there's always that major demarcation between male and female. So if it's an older male member of the family, it even makes it more difficult for a female younger member of the family to be able to support someone. So for example, if somebody's suffering from, let's say, malaria, you know, just plucking out a condition, you know, from nearby, they're suffering from malaria, it's very easy to run to their room and go and you know, support them in one way or another. But with this, it's like, oh, you know, you've got to shy away, and he's older than me and he's male, you know. How can we make it more comfortable for people to be ready to support you and for you to receive the care as well?
To support you, as in the family, to support you?
Yeah, as in family members, because they're the ones that know. They're the ones that know that there is a problem, but we're challenged. We don't know how to deal with it, how to support this person, because of course, you know, there are some self-esteem issues that may be going on. Yeah, how would you, as a sufferer or somebody who's already diagnosed, be able to make it easier for them to give you that kind of moral support? And
well, my family, they was like, you know, we spoke about it a lot. We just rallied round, You know, you've got to rally round my sisters, brothers, you know, uncles. It was we just really rallied round together, and we just all thought about it, and we just stuck together, you know, like an army, and we just all got through it. And it's talking about it, that's what helps. You know, once you get the diagnosis and you think to yourself, oh, some people don't want to talk about it. They go into a shell. I've had loads of friends that have got prostate cancer, you know, and they ring me up and say, you know, what should I do? How should I deal with it? I said, talk to your partners about it, you know, talk to people about it, talk to your family.
And I think that kind of links in with a couple of questions we've had, Richard. So one of our listeners has asked, you know, how did you manage this emotionally, and how did you keep your spirits up? So I think you've just kind of touched on that already, but perhaps you could just expand a little bit on, you know.
I was a very strong mindset, thinking to myself, I can get through this, and believing in myself that I can get through this. That's what I'm quite strong anyway, you know. And also my brother was really supportive of me. My sisters are supportive. They kept calling me all the time. My cousin Lorna calling me all the time. I've got, you know, and they helped me through it. It was good. Really, 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 really good. Family, stick together. That's the one, you know.
Yeah. So strong family and friends, infrastructure and support. And
yeah.
Another question that's coming from Lenja Bell, actually, who's listening, and everybody, Richard, the messages that are coming through are just pouring out, you know, thanks and praise to you and your bravery. So, you know, I just want to relay all of that from everybody that's listening. But one of the questions was around the NHS, actually. And the question was, what do you think the NHS could have done to perhaps improve your care or improve your journey?
I think they care more about you. It's a more caring service, because I've been on both sides of it now, and it's a more caring service. You get more support, you know. Yeah, it's just a caring service, you know. Once you've been through the private sector, you have the operation, they just go like that, wash your hands of you.
Yeah.
But the NHS, they're there for you all the time. That's what I love about them, you know.
Oh, that's amazing.
Really fantastic service. You can't knock it, you know. Fantastic service.
Wow, that's just so good to hear. So it almost feels like the NHS has kind of been instrumental to sort of your recovery, although at the diagnosis bit they weren't that involved because you had the private healthcare, as you said, but the NHS clearly have been instrumental to you.
They've been there all the time for me, you know. Helpline, ring up, you know, I've got that woman's number. If ever I need to talk to her, she's there for me, you know. She says, I'm going on holiday, but if you need to talk to me as well, you know, really professional service. Loved it all the way. Couldn't thank them enough. Can't thank them enough, honestly. Can't thank them enough. It's a great service.
And so from a Bain perspective, you know, I've been asked to ask you, do you think that there are perhaps any differences in your care, or do you think there's any different steps the NHS perhaps should take, given that prostate is prevalent in the Bain communities for all of these taboos and things you've been talking about? Do you think that there's anything the NHS should be doing to sort of tackle that?
Do they advertise, or do they make it? Because, you know, you just don't see enough of it. You know, the testing, get tested. You don't see enough of it. Or you need to be on TV, on the adverts. Get a test, because it could save your life. That kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
You just don't see enough of it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know.
I'll be honest with you. What I know of prostate after this conversation is more than I've ever known or understood. You have opened my eyes to this. You have shared, you know, the challenges around this, and I was completely in the dark. I'll be honest with you. And, you know, my dad, my uncles, my brothers, I will be talking to them all about it, you know, after
spread
this.
the word. Yeah, definitely spread the word. Fantastic. I'm just happy to help people. If I can get the word out there myself, I'm happy. Everybody I meet, every man I meet, I always say to them, we had a prostate check. That's what I say to them all the time. Everybody I meet,
Yeah,
Get
yeah,
checked, get checked, you know.
yeah. Erica's just reminding us that in some of the other specialties like stroke, for example, you know, we advertise there, or, you know, you'll see obesity on TV or other stuff, but prostate actually is one of the things you don't. I agree with you. We don't sort of tackle that much, and we don't see, you know, much about it really at all.
Yeah, you
So
don't,
it's,
not at all. No, it needs to get out there. Yeah, she's right. Erica's right. Is it Erica?
yeah,
Yeah,
Erica.
she's completely right. Yeah, you need to. It needs to get out there more. I think. I really do think it needs to get out there more. You know,
Yeah,
billboards. You know, where bus stops are.
yeah,
That advertising there when people are going to the bus, or on a bus, the side of a bus. I don't know, but it needs to get out there.
yeah.
People need to know about it more and more and more about it. You know.
Thank you, Richard, so much. So in your life now, in terms of your recovery, I know you said that, you know, you're still dealing with some of the issues. What sort of, how are you in yourself? You know, how do you feel about where you are in your recovery? I know you said you're still waiting for a couple of appointments. Are there any, has anyone spoken to you about any other options available to you, or what sort of other things are available to you potentially to maybe pursue in the future?
Maybe I'm not sure. I'm probably going to go. Probably they go down a route. I might have a penile. The sex thing doesn't really bother me that much. But there's an operation I can give you, a penile implant or something. You pump it up in your scrotum to get an erection. I don't know at the moment. But the leaking is more important for me. And the
Right.
NHS, they're working on that. That's the most important thing for me, really, to get dealt with. But I'm
Yeah.
just like, I still got on with my life. Nobody knows I've got a pad on. You know, if I go out and have a glass of wine or something and at a restaurant, I'm always take a spare pad with me. You just kind of like deal with it, you know. And I'm just lucky to be here. And that's the thing, because there's people a lot worse off than me, you know.
Yeah.
And thank God, you know.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
those people who were sort of worse off than you, what are sort of the worst? I mean, like you say, you called it early, you got checked regularly. If this was left, for example, and you said there's people worse off, what's sort of the worst end of this?
Um, uh, death. I mean, it spreads.
It's,
It can spread. Yeah, it can spread into your lymph nodes and that, and you know, caught
yeah,
early, it can be dealt with. And that's
yeah,
the thing. That's the message. Catch it early, and go and get a check. You know,
yeah,
'cause
yeah.
it will kill you. It will kill you.
Wow. It's just incredible.
Can I just say one more thing?
Of course, this
Yeah,
is your session.
I'd like to thank like Prostate UK. They're fantastic. Really good service. You can look them up. You can speak to trained nurses. If you've got any queries about anything, about getting an examination or anything like that, speak to Prostate UK. They're number one. I've donated some money to them myself. Always donate to them. Fantastic organisation. And on the line, you can talk to them anytime. You know, about anything.
Wow.
You know, Prostate UK, fantastic.
So you relied on them quite a lot as well, presumably. And
Definitely. Yeah. They're
yeah,
very good service. Very, very good service.
that's amazing. And we will be making a donation to Prostate UK at your request, Richard, as you've done this presentation completely voluntarily.
Right.
And we will be doing that, making a donation on your behalf as well at your wish. You know, I'm absolutely delighted to just be privileged enough to have this conversation with you and to bring it and share it in a wider platform. I think it's amazing, and I think you're amazing. I think you're incredibly brave, Richard, to, you know, be willing to talk about this. It's not an easy subject to grapple. You know, you do it with such sincerity and such openness, and it's just absolutely amazing. And I can't thank you enough for coming forward. And when I asked you to do this, not telling me to get lost, you know, you willingly jumped at it. So thank you so much, Richard. And I've got a question actually from our Director of Workforce, David Werrett, who can't be with us today. He's on leave, but he emailed me and said, make sure you ask this. And so from David, I'm asking you, Richard, what is the single most important message that you would want to convey in this platform, in this setting? What's the single most important thing to you that you would want to convey?
I would like to convey, to tell their partners to get tested. That is the most important thing that this is all about for me, is to tell your partners and spread the word to other people. That's the one. Spread it. Get tested, and get tested now.
Yeah.
It's the most important message I can really say at the moment. Yeah, definitely
Wow.
get tested. It could
That's
save your
incredible.
life, you know.
Yeah.
Get tested, definitely.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Before we close, I just wanted to ask you actually about the differences from a timeline perspective from the private sector to the NHS. So when you first got the diagnosis and you realized that you had an issue and you had to deal with it, you had private healthcare, as you said, so you just jumped on that route. Do you know what the difference would be if that was pursued on the NHS side of it, sort of from the get-go, rather than going down the private route? Have you had any?
I think I don't know if it would have been faster. I mean, they deal with it. They do it when they know it's a cancer. They deal with it quite quickly. So it was my brother. He's been diagnosed with it, and he didn't have private healthcare.
Yeah.
And he's got dealt with very quickly on the NHS. So it would be the same.
Yeah.
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 But
Yeah.
I would have opted with the NHS all day long.
Wow.
All day long. Fantastic service. Honestly, from start to finish, fantastic service. I couldn't thank them enough.
Oh, that's just amazing. And it makes me smile. And I hope everybody that's watching this now and watches it on catch up, just again, you are testimony, of just how important the NHS is and the service that we provide and how valued we are. Actually, it doesn't always feel like it, but we are just so incredibly valued, and I just absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. So can I just ask you, actually, as we've got a few minutes left, you spoke about your brother and that he has been diagnosed with prostate cancer as well. Do you know if there's a genetic link, like breast cancer? In some breast cancers, there's a genetic sort of predisposition. Is that the same with prostate? Do you know?
I think it. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. If your uncle's had it or your brother's had it, you should get checked. That's another thing I should get over as well. Yeah. I think there is some sort of link there somewhere. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
there is.
Yeah.
And if it's okay to ask you, just generally, obviously your brother's not here to give consent, but I just wondered, did he opt for a similar sort of treatment to you, to have the prostate removed, or has he approached it differently?
He opted for the radio. He had 52. They're like grains of rice, the size of 52 radiation pellets put into his prostate. And he's that way. I think, how long ago? I think it was about a month ago. His PSA levels gone right down, so it's worked.
Okay. Wow.
He didn't want to go through the prosectomy.
Yeah.
He didn't want to go through it. I said to him, it's entirely up to you. But I told my brother, me personally, I would go for the get it taken out. But he saw I had to go for it, and he didn't want to go down that road. But I would get it taken out, and then if you have a problem in the future, if it comes back, they can zap you.
Yeah.
So
I suppose this is where you said about having two goalies in the back of the net.
Yeah,
so
right, yeah.
If you have the prosectomy, and God forbid, but it should come back, then they can treat you with the radiotherapy. Whereas if you just go for the radiotherapy first, then there's no other option. Is that right?
They're not reluctant to take out the prostate after that. They said it's too. They just can't do it. Apparently they can, but they said it's really very, very tricky.
Right.
So
right.
Taken into consideration as well.
So that's really interesting, sort of the two different routes. And I suppose, again, it's like a woman that would diagnosed with breast cancer. Some people just want the lump removed. Some people want the mastectomy and to take the breast off completely. Yeah. I suppose there's no right or wrong, is there? It's a personal choice, isn't it? About
definite personal choice. Yeah, and you're the only person that can make that choice. You just got to do your homework, read about it, and think to yourself, should I or shouldn't I? You're the only person that can deal with it that way. But there's so much information out there now, you know.
Yeah.
Years ago, you know, 56, 70 years ago, people didn't survive from it.
Yeah.
It was a terrible disease, you know. But now it's treatable if caught early. So get that test.
Oh, that's honestly, Richard, you've almost made me tearful. I'm just absorbing everything you said. And I just think you're so brave. You've been, Joan Milne has just emailed in and just, again, relaying massive thanks to you. Thank you, Richard, for your message. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you for your bravery. I'm so pleased to be able to see you looking so well and still so buff. You've always been so hunky.
Down the gym.
Down the gym, and I can see that, and I'm definitely gonna, come up and spend some time with you when the weather breaks. And I think you're amazing. And Judith, before we just close off, have I missed any questions in the chat, or have I answered them all?
There was one about one bit of support from female members, but that may have been answered.
Yeah, I think we kind of covered that, but maybe Richard, if you had any other final words on what you think the women, the Black women and the BAME women should be doing to support men.
Just you've got to tell your partners not to be scared, don't be scared of it, and just go and get your checks done. Don't put it off. That's the thing. Tell your partners not to put it off. Oh, I didn't go because I was too busy. Oh, and all this kind of nonsense. You make sure your partners go and get it checked, and that's what I would suggest, really.
Yeah. Thank you, Richard.
We've had one comment on Facebook saying, "Well done for your positivity, Richard, and NHS, keep up the good work. We don't appreciate you all enough."
That's right. Thank you. Fantastic. So get that word out there, get the message out there. That's all I want to do, is to get that message out there.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. I'm just overwhelmed, and just at how powerful as well your message is. You have, you're not talking in the wind here. You have been through this. This has happened to you. This is your direct personal experience. And you've invited all of us here listening into your life and shared that with us. And that's truly a fantastic gift. And for myself personally, I know everybody watching, we can't thank you enough, Richard, for your time, your honesty and your frankness and your sincerity, actually, in the way you've spoken about what's happened to you and life after prostate. You look amazing. I wish you every health and every success moving forward. I'm sure people will be asking me, so how's Richard? So, and I'll always let people know how you're doing. I think you're amazing. I've been honored to host you today, and I thank you again from the bottom of my heart.
Cheers, thank you.
Everything you've given us. Thank you very, very much, Richard.
And thank the NHS, a fantastic service.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rich.
Bye.
Thank you. Love you. Thanks, Richard.